Hello everyone, how's it going? In this video, we're going to talk about FUELCELL, trading under the ticker symbol FCEL. Now, if you like my content, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and comment below. And also, if you want to support my channel, you can take a look at my description section and to use the services with the affiliate links. Basically, they're going to pay me a small commission, but they're not going to cost you any additional money. So with all that being said, let's begin with today's analysis. FUELCELL is an interesting company in the sense that it benefited largely from, how can I put this, the stock craze back in 2020 and 2021. Back then, there was very little, if any sort of reason, fundamentally or logically speaking, to support that kind of interest. Because basically, people were all about EV, alternative energies, hydrogen back then. And one of the key words for hydrogen used to be fuel cell. It just so happens that FCEL has fuel cell energy in its name, right? But what people either didn't know immediately or didn't care to know was that fuel cell operates like natural gas centers, and this is not really what hydrogen is about, or at least it's pretty far away from hydrogen. And it's also not like a startup in this area. It's a company that has existed for a long time. It was actually founded in 1969. And as of 2022, it has more than 500 employees. And it actually has like tens of millions of dollars in revenues. Despite all this, the company has been struggling over like the recent past because its net income is negative, despite like showing strong growth. It's also a company that may not have like the best kind of profile in order to attract dumb money or retail money. And yet here we are. In great part thanks to the name, in my humble opinion. So with all that being said, it's been a couple of years since we last talked about FUELCELL. I think that on a fundamental level, things haven't really changed. For the most part, except for one thing. FUELCELL recently announced that they're going to collaborate on hydrogen-related technologies with a company called Chart Industries. This is significant in my opinion because it finally actually starts to stick to a topic, to a narrative that people are interested in, regardless of whether this is going to work or not. And in fact, I'm going to say this. As long as this project remains on a charting board and not necessarily in reality, as long as the reality doesn't hit, the stock can produce wonders because it's all in our head. And as long as the project is still ongoing, people cannot say with certainty that, oh, it's not going to work. You see what I'm saying? This is why I would say that FUELCELL currently has a good shot in producing some actual interesting results in the stock market. Now, something interesting regarding FUELCELL that sets itself apart from other meme stocks or EV stocks or startup stocks is that FUELCELL has almost 50% of its shareholder base as institutional shareholders. Because according to Fintel, it has 49% of its shareholders that are institutions instead of retail. And this is a good news for me because institutions tend not to switch in and out too often regarding the positions that they take. And overall, this offers a layer of legitimacy and also stability for FuelCell. And if you want to own FuelCell, what this also tells me is that it's more a stock that you want to hold for the long term if you want to see some good results. If you want to hold it at all, that is. So, with that being said, I personally believe that FuelCell is an interesting stock if you want to have some exposure in hydrogen. In the overall narrative of alternative energy sources. If this fits your portfolio profile, or if this fits the risk profile that you're looking for, then it would be worth it, in my opinion. Now, with that being said, if you're looking for some quick gains, FuelCell is probably not for you. If you're looking for, if you're looking for a stock that is going to give you good dividends, I'm afraid that FuelCell cannot do that for the time being, although it seems to be the expectation the market generally has. Not only that, I think that FuelCell also has another appeal for shareholders. You know how right now the global market is a bit bearish overall, and it's not really having a good recession in order to bring the prices down, but it's also not really going up, right? Recently, the Nasdaq is having a bit of a recovery, but it's still a recovery. The stocks that we own, generally speaking, haven't really gone up, except maybe for Palantir. So, in this kind of context, I think that it's, at least in some people's mind, that if they buy FuelCell now, they're going to reap the benefits a few years from now, right? They may suffer unrealized losses for a year or two, but in the longer term, we may be looking at something that's going to be far more interesting. We might be looking at a stock that can go back to its former glories, especially if the whole hydrogen thing starts to pick up. And also, if, generally speaking, in the stock market, people are looking for the next big thing. And I think that hydrogen has the potential to become one. So my recommendation overall for FuelCell is that if you want to buy it, it's better to buy it in small batches over a couple of months, and to withhold the expectation that, it's gonna have a very wild upward volatility coming in. It may not for some time, right? So going in, we should have this kind of expectation with regards to FuelCell. And if you have those expectations, and if you control the overall exposure within, let's say, I would say within 3% of your portfolio, then things should be fine.